Well, hi guys, it's that time. It's our Bible teaching snippet of the day. Well, today I want to just give you like a miracle testimony, a testimony instead of a teaching. I love to talk about all the good things that God does. I actually want to combine two things today. I had been living in Colorado for 2 years, going to Bible college, and my time there was up, and I wanted to sell a home that I bought. So, look, I prayed about it, and I really truly believe that God was telling me not to book it with a real estate agent because I did not need to pay 6% of a $300,000 sale. So I didn't. I put it up for sale by owner. Turns out for sale by owner messed up the ad, and that's why I'd only gotten like 2 or 3 calls. So I started praying. I said, Father, I'm leaving in 3 weeks, and I want to leave here with no ties, nothing to take home for me to be burdened with. Well, the very next morning, a lady called me and left me a message, but I was busy doing some teaching, so I didn't get it until that night about 9:30. I called and left a message, and immediately this lady calls back, and she says, look, I have my uncle and aunt that's trying to move there to retire, and I'd like to bring them to see your home. Could we come tomorrow? Well, she did. They came the very next day, and this couple bought my house, and they paid me 100%. Actually, they paid me $100 more than the asking price that I had on the market. Now, here's the miracle story I want to tell you about, though. It's awesome that God put me in a home. It cost me very little. I mean, very, very little, like $4,000 a year to live there because of some things that went on. But then I left making quite a very, very large sum of money on this home. But my miracle story is about the couple that bought the place, okay? The gentleman and his niece came to look at it, but then like 2 days later, they wanted to bring his wife. His wife comes, and they wanted to bring her because I was talking about how I went out and about healing and laying hands on people. His sweet little wife has to be put in and out of a car, and she's on basically a walking stick and has to be helped. When they got there that day, I went out to the vehicle where she was sitting, and as they opened the door to help her get out of the car and lift her out of the car to help her to my house so she could see the home, I walked up to her, and she just smiled at me. She said, "You're the Faye." And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am. Do you mind if I hug you?" And guys, I just wrapped my arms around her and held her for just 4 or 5 seconds. And I was pouring the life of Jesus out of me into her. Did you know when I let go of her, she did not need anyone to hold her up or to help her or do anything. This woman, on her own ability, walked straight up to my front door and said, "Do you mind if I sit here? It's so beautiful here. I'd love to sit here and look out at all the beautiful things." And I said, "Oh, no, you're fine." And the husband was there, and he said, "We'll just be in here looking around, making a list of things that we have to get fixed before we can close." And anyway, let me get to the good part. A few minutes later, the husband, or actually I think the niece, looked out and said, "Where is Mary?" And the husband walks over to the front window, and he said, "Well, she's sitting right here in her chair." And she said, "Oh no, she's gone. I don't know where she is." And look, we went out and looked, and this lady had walked like 3 houses down all by herself, checking out my neighborhood. And then she walks back up to where we're at my house from those 3 houses, and went the opposite direction and walked 3 more houses down, and then turned around and came back and sat down on the front porch. The niece and the husband were in absolute shock, both of them, and they're like, "She's not supposed to be able to do this. She hasn't been able to walk more than 5 or 6 steps in 2 years." So anyway, this lady was so full of energy and so able to get around and walk. And here's the good news, guys. Before she left that day, I went on and prayed over her and set her free of a lot of things. But the point I want to make here is that I did not pray for her. I just directed the life of Jesus, he said, I come to give you life and life in abundance. And I have more life in me than I need. So when I want to release that into people, I can. I've laid my hands on, just gently on somebody's hand, and healed them like of a bad headache and different things like that. So the bottom line here is the couple ended up getting the house, moving in it, and I left them some of my furniture behind to bless them that they didn't even ask for. But guys, you know what? If we just would stop trying to survive and start understanding that God put us here as witnesses to his kingdom, and we're not struggling just to survive. We are here to shine and show the world that we have something they need, and his name is Jesus. God bless you, and I'll see you again right here on Facebook. Bye-bye.